Well, thanks for giving me a few minutes to talk to you this morning about Pinnacle's managed IT services. And what I want to do this morning is kind of cover how the program itself works, the client portal that we make available to you, our onboarding process, which is very important to our ability to manage your environment, and then talk a little bit about some of the management tools that we actually use. So let me begin by just talking a little bit about our remote monitoring and management. And this really just allows us to be anywhere and control virtually anything that's connected to the internet. We can roll out patches, repair workstations, or any other hardware that's connected to your environment, reset servers, install updates, and we can execute a lot of automated scripts if we actually need to. So what is a managed service provider, or in our case, what is a managed IT service provider? What it really means to you is what you see there in bold text, and it allows you as a business owner or an executive of the organization to focus on the things that are key to your business, your core functions, and we take care of the technology so that your business is not brought down or to a halt because the technology isn't working. So this is kind of an interesting question, and one that I always like to ask is your network reliable? And you get varying degrees of those answers, but our remote management solutions can actually improve the stability of the environment, and that's really what we're after. So we deploy an agent-based system. It's very light on the network, creates very, very little traffic, but gives us tons and tons of information. And so once we deploy these agents to your target servers, it will really allow us to perform a lot of different tasks automatically. It just helps us to do many things very preemptively in a proactive manner, so that we're trying to catch things before they actually become a problem. So this screen that you see here is just kind of a couple screenshots of some of the tools that we actually use. So that front screen that you see here is a session that we're about to begin, taking over a workstation and that an end user may be having an issue with. And in the background you see our full-blown remote management tool that really, as you can see, there's lots and lots of tabs of areas to click into. We have a central services group here we have somebody dedicated to making sure that we're constantly tweaking this and getting the most out of it. But it really allows us to remotely take care of thousands and thousands of devices, whether they're located down the street from us or in Dallas, Texas. It doesn't really matter. So let's touch on our web portal and kind of how it works in this whole process. So one of the things that we'll do as we begin the onboarding is we're going to make available our client service ticketing portal. And this is a main screenshot of it. So as you log into it, it allows you to create service tickets. You can pull reports, and there's all kind of recommendations that actually come through this portal. So it's a lot of information, but ultimately what happens is it's going to be your primary entrance to our help desk and taking care of your environment. So once you enter a service ticket, we have an entire process or workflow built into it. And so in this case, let's say non-emergency support requests, just day-to-day normal things. So you create the ticket comes into our help desk and a group of what we call tier 1 engineers, and their responsibility is to take care of as many of those tickets as they possibly can. And we track these metrics very closely, and what we found is the majority, upwards of 85 to 90% of our tickets are actually resolved at this level. But if it gets a little more complicated or requires a more specialized skill set, we have an entire escalation process built in, so that we have tier 2 and 3 engineers, which are really just more experienced engineers that can actually take care of tickets if the tier 1 group cannot actually take care of it. And then ultimately we can come on site if we need to. If we physically need to be there, we're actually going to do that. and take care of whatever needs to be taken care of. And we have a service delivery manager who's responsible for managing this group and making sure that tickets are always attended to and attended to in a timely manner, and that nothing actually slips through the cracks. And then we have an entire workflow process for emergency tickets. And really at this point, what we want you to do is to pick up the phone and call right into our help desk. So we're going to give you a phone number that will go right to that help desk, and we'll try to triage that issue as quickly as we can, resolve it remotely if we can, because that'll be the quickest avenue. But if not, we need to come on site. We'll send somebody out and actually resolve the ticket. So there's lots and lots of communication that goes on during this process. So you can just see 3 different emails here, which ultimately the ticket's entered. You get confirmation of that email. There's some correspondence that's taken place where an engineer has made notes on that ticket. You actually get a response back from that, and then when we actually ultimately close that ticket. And we can open up this communication as much or as little as you want. Some people like to see lots and lots of communication so that they know things are moving forward. But the point is we can do whatever you need, whatever you're comfortable with. And there's lots of reports that can be pulled out of here. So you can log into it and just pull ticket history reports, see things like computer security patches and what's being done with that. Business continuity indicators, so how available is the server over a certain period of time, and that should be, that number, as you can see down here, is at 100%, and it should be very, very close to that. And if it's not, then it's something that we need to look into and as to actually why that may be going on. And as well, you can see service ticket history both in a graphical format, and then you can actually see the list of tickets, and there's hot links to all of them, so you can go back into them and actually see the detail if you wanted to. So now let me just touch on onboarding, because onboarding is it's as important as the management that takes place afterwards. And so when we start this onboarding process, it will really begin with an onboarding project. So we'll actually create a project in our ConnectWise application, which is what we use to manage all environments, and we'll come out and do a meet and greet. It's an on-site meeting where we kind of set the stage for what's about to take place, make sure that you understand all of the tasks that we're going to go through during the onboarding process, and then we'll actually close that project once we're done, and that's concluded with another on-site meeting where we actually go through everything that's taken place, and that we're now ready to start managing on a day-to-day basis. So it starts with really a kind of a 28-point checklist, but this list grows based on the environment, but at its heart there's at least 28 things that we're going to go through for sure to make sure that we have backups covered and antiviruses running appropriately where it should be. But it does vary some on environment. So then once we get past that onboarding project, then we get into the proactive maintenance part of it. And this is really just us keeping your systems running so that your business can do the exact same thing and not have to worry about IT. So we do a lot of monthly routine maintenance. At minimum, there's 50 maintenance tasks that we perform to make sure that everything's up and running smoothly, from patching to validating and restoring backups, and doing constant health and security checks on your environment to make sure that there isn't something that's starting to happen that we need to head off before it actually becomes an issue. And at the back of all of this is really our team, and it starts with your interface as our client, either through our web portal or through a phone call. We have that frontline help desk who's going to be resolving the majority of those tickets. We assign a lead engineer who's the primary person in the liaison with our internal group and your environment. So they're kind of strapped with the maintaining a very intimate knowledge of your environment. And then we have that entire managed network services team, which is made up of the tier 1 frontline engineers, the more specialized tier 2 and 3 engineers. We have engineers who are relegated to more as the remote team. We have a field group who's, they're going to be the ones that come on site. And then we have an entire project group. So if you have a specialized project that needs to be taken care of from an IT standpoint, maybe migrating to a new server or installing a new firewall, we do, very specialized projects as well, and we have a group specialized to that. And then there's 2 other things that you'll be able to take advantage of, and we assign. We always find that there's, hardware that needs to be purchased, whether it's workstations or servers and things like that. We have an order desk that will take care of quoting all of that. So we have a nice streamlined electronic process where we can provide quotes electronically. You can approve them electronically, and we'll order that equipment in, set it up, and install it in your environment as a service to you as well. And then we're going to assign what we call a virtual CIO. And this is somebody who's very experienced in the IT world, and they have a lot of experience in IT leadership and creating what we call technology roadmaps. So we're gonna create a technology roadmap for you, and start to define things that maybe need to be cleaned up, things that you can take advantage from a technology standpoint that maybe you ordinarily never were able to do because you didn't have that expertise on staff. And so we'll assign a virtual CIO, and that's what their responsibility is, and they will be intimately involved in the what we call strategic technology reviews that we do 2, 3, 4 times a year to kind of readdress the roadmap and how we're going to continue to further your business from a technology standpoint. So that's a kind of an overall summary of our managed IT program. It's just a initial glimpse of it. And so our, like I said, our offices are located in Mishawaka, Indiana. The thing I'd like to kind of set up at this point is maybe schedule a time where we can come in and do an initial assessment, and that will allow us to create a proposal for you on how we would actually take care of your environment and then what the cost of that would actually be. Thanks again.